Welcome to the 3296 Weather Podcast. Today is Thursday, January 5th, 2023. This episode of the 3296 Weather Podcast is brought to you by Amen Plumbing. Amen Plumbing can repair your water leak or unclog your sewer. Visit their website at amenplumbing.com. That's Amen with two N's. Amenplumbing.com. After Amen Plumbing takes care of you, you will say Amen. Well, if you like freezing temperatures, you may be saying amen this morning. It is crisp out there. Most of the Metroplex proper is in the mid-30s. Out in our rural areas, especially Northwest, we are in the upper 20s, and that is a typical, maybe slightly below normal morning for temperature-wise for January, but it is certainly nothing out of the ordinary. All right, well, let's move on to what's going on today. Not a whole lot. Like I said, we had a system that moved through earlier in the week. We had a very minor system move through yesterday, i.e. a cold front that you probably didn't even notice. It was a tad cooler than it was yesterday or the day before. So, but again, nothing significant. Now, today you will see a similar weather pattern that we did today. Highs in the lower 60s, plenty of sunshine, light winds. Tonight, not quite as cool, temperatures being in the lower 40s, again, light winds. And on Friday, it will be warmer. It'll be closer to 70. For some of us, it'll be in the low 70s, a little bit breezier, south winds about 15 miles an hour. So a mild to somewhat warm end of the week, weather-wise. Our next chance for rain, which is very small, again, is going to be late Saturday, maybe early Saturday afternoon, late Saturday evening. Again, most of this will be southeast. Those will have a system move through, fairly weak, cold front, if you want to call it that. Not a lot of cold air behind it. Going to move through on Saturday. Outdoor impact-wise will be very minimal. The vast majority of us will not see any precipitation with this front. May see some clouds, maybe just slightly cooler than Friday, maybe mid-60s as opposed to upper 60s or lower 70s that we'll see on Friday. Speaking of temperatures, kind of looking out a little bit into the next week or so, 2 weeks in January, we are seeing the models say we're going to be above normal temperature-wise. That would put us in the 70s, which obviously is very nice, but it is above normal for January. And when you extend that out a little bit beyond 2 weeks, again, same thing. Temperatures will probably be in the 60s and 70s, which is about 15 degrees above normal. Precipitation-wise, which is, again, like I mentioned yesterday, nothing to be terribly concerned about from a dryness standpoint yet, but our pattern is becoming a dry pattern in January. And again, like I said, not terribly unusual. January is our second driest month of the year behind August. But again, I don't know about you, but I've lived here long enough to know that the wetter winter we have, the better it is for our spring, because unfortunately sometimes we can have dry springs. And you definitely want to have a wet spring because we could definitely have dry summers. The next 6 to 10 days, we will see precipitation a little bit below normal. And then going out 8 to 14 days, about normal, maybe just a tad above normal, which is good. Looking at the long-range models this morning, system-wise, I think we have small chances for rain late next week and then maybe into the last part of January. But nothing really significant that I can see. And as I mentioned yesterday, true winter is nowhere to be found. We may, looking way out, the first instance I saw of potential colder weather is the first week in February. And that's a long way away, but I don't see a whole lot between now and then. That could change, obviously. But I think the theme between now and at least the next couple of weeks is going to be a lot like today in some form, fairly nice, maybe on the mild to cool side, and then also on the warmer side some days. Just not a whole lot weather-wise going on. But again, that's not terribly atypical for January. Well, that's it for this episode of the 3296 Weather Podcast. You can follow me, your host, Jeff Bickerstaff, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for all the latest weather information for North Texas. During severe weather events, tune into my live stream on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for listening, and remember, I'm watching the weather so you don't have to. Hope everyone has a great day, and we will talk to you soon.